Greetings, vintage toy fans! Got some more cool customs to keep your collection standing strong and sturdy thanks to Visions to Create. One of my favorite wings of the 80s toy museum is the Visionary shelf, but I can't tell you how many times I've bumped a figure and had the domino effect happen. These figures are particularly difficult to find stands for since the peg holes are larger than the standard G.I. Joe peg hole. Since it's very difficult to get them to stand on their own, I resorted to these little miniaturized stands like the ones available for 1/6 scale figures, but they don't work all that well either.
When Cryotech and Witterquick have fallen, we will have all the magic we need to assault New Valaric.
The new stands from Visions to Create don't just hold the figures up, but blend in with the figure too and make it look more like a nice display piece, featuring the same shape as the hologram plate on the figure's chest. And best of all, there's a hole to hold the staff. For these particular figures, it's tough to get a good pose holding the staff, especially one that gives you a good look at the staff hologram and doesn't block the chest hologram.
Knowledge, wisdom, fear, speed, all useless!
Now you can display the staff in behind the figure, much like how the characters carried their staves on their backs on the show. Now the important thing to keep in mind with any modern stand accessory for toys that are 30 years or older is that plastic changes over decades. It gets more brittle, sometimes it shrinks a bit, or sometimes it grows or warps. And sometimes the peg holes were just different right out of the factory. Hey, these are toys, not fine china, remember? So whenever I'm using custom-made stands for my figures, I'm very mindful about the fit. I ordered a bunch of G.I. Joe stands from eBay from another customizer one time. I ended up cracking some of my Joe's feet. So when it comes to custom stands, always remember, loose is better than tight. Because if the peg is loose on your particular figure, all you have to do is add a small drop of crazy glue and let it sit for a few hours, and that'll tighten the grip up nicely, but also give it a tiny amount of give to help avoid cracking. Now these stands ended up being loose on all of my Visionaries figures, but I do know they fit a bit more snugly on other people's figures. So it may just be this particular batch of Canadian Visionaries had slightly larger peg holes than the American ones. Despite the looseness, I think they fit perfect. Placing the figure's feet in both holes makes it nice and secure. Same goes for the staff holders. I don't want it overly tight because that could crack the staff holder or damage the staff handle. So for me, the fit is perfect. Now my Visionaries stand securely with their fashionable stands and all holograms displayed unobstructed. They're available in several different colors too. I went with silver to match the staves of the Spectral Knights and gold to match the staves of the Darkling Lords. Begone thy wobble, I command! Now these figures securely stand! Next up is what I call the spotlight for your Thundercats figures. I've always thought that of all the Thundercats figures, Lion-O should pop out the most, being the Lord of the Thundercats. But he was just kind of lost in the shuffle on my Thundercats shelf. Not so anymore thanks to this gorgeous Thundercats symbol stand. Talk about incorporating the logo into the stand. This is magnificent.
Panthro would give a lot to see this.
It's like Lion-O called upon the power of the Sword of Omens and shined it right down at the ground. Since Thundercats figures didn't have peg holes, this stand has loops to gently hold onto the figure's feet.
I can't move!
And the posts can swivel too to accommodate your particular figure's warping over the years. LJN's plastic is notoriously cheaper than a lot of other plastics used in 80s figures, so my particular Lion-O has warped to the point where both of his feet won't fit in both foot loops. I don't want to risk breaking it by trying to make it fit, but one loop is enough to hold him securely, and the other foot just rests on the other foot holder. This is exactly what my Lion-O needed to stand out as Lord of my Thundercats collection.
I have a special interest in that one.
Also available are Silverhawk stands featuring their logo.
They look pretty good, huh? They sure do, Commander.
Really sharp looking, which is required for some of the sharpest looking 80s figures ever made. Like the Visionaries figures, the sizing varies, so they're pretty loose on most of my figures, particularly the ones with hard plastic feet like the Year 1 Hawks. The second year ultrasonic figures with more rubbery feet fit a little better.
I guess no matter how well you plan things, there's always an unknown factor.
The peg has been placed in the middle of the stand, but can be moved around upon request, like to this open area so that the figure stands more centered with the logo. And I like that there are different styles available. All silver looks great with Quicksilver, and the stands with the blue part go nicely with the Steel Twins or Bluegrass. And some offerings for G.I. Joe. First up is the classic Real American Hero logo. Such an iconic logo and looks great in 3D. I've got a blank space at the bow of the ultimate USS flag, and I was thinking of putting a big Joe logo sticker there, but 3D pops so much better than 2D, and matches the color of the hull. Yo, Joe!
Nonsense!
And don't worry, you snakes, there's something really cool for you as well. If you're a big Joe fan like me, you've got tons of figures, but there's a few figures that are just a little more special than the others. But, like Lion-O, just seem to blend in and get lost in the shuffle. Now you can put the spotlight on those particular figures and have them stand out from all the others. Like this Hooded Cobra Commander, my first mail-away figure in 1984.
How considerate of you!
Got some mask figures that won't stand on their own?
I believe you have something for me.
Visions to Create is the mighty customizer that can save the day with their mask stand featuring the mask logo. These tiny fellas are tough to find stands for since the peg holes are so tiny. They can stand on their own, but the problem is sometimes the slightest bump will give you the domino effect. And this tracker figure from the Goliath set has never stood on his own due to a warped leg. But now, thanks to this stand, the Shroud mask won't be just firing at gopher holes. And finally, what's sure to bring a sigh of relief to He-Man fans worldwide, Masters of the Universe stands. Is there any toy line more notorious for not being able to stand on their own?
Right you are, Furface.
Great toys to play with as kids, but many of these figures just weren't built to stand on a shelf.
We'll try anything.
Using the same loop design as the Thundercat stands, you just slip the figure's feet in and that's it. Not even the power of Grayskull or Skeletor's magic could knock these mystic warriors over now. All sorts of different shapes, sizes, and colors available as well. And since many of the Masters figures had different foot sizes, and some even had claws or talons, the stands are customized to fit those particular figures securely. There's a couple of ways to get them. You can email at visions2createinfo@gmail.com or find them on Etsy, eBay, Instagram, or Facebook by searching Visions to Create. How much? Masters of the Universe stands are $2 each, or $3 for Extendar. The G.I. Joe logo is $8 unpainted, or $15 fully painted. The Cobra figure display is $20. The Lion-O and Panthro combo of Thundercat stands is $14 for the pair. Visionaries and Mask stands are 4 for $12, 8 for $22, or 12 for $30. Silverhawk stands are $3 each for just one color, or $5 each for two colors. And for you Guardians of the Galaxy fans, there's this adorable little Groot. $70 for this 9.5-inch figure, or smaller ones can be made for less. Worldwide shipping is available, just contact them with any questions about shipping, pricing, or anything else. They can also do custom designs or print out a file that you already have. So if you're sick of vintage toy dominoes, Visions to Create has got you covered and your figures supported.
I've had enough of your sarcasm for one day! Go! Get out of here!